Do you know how to talk to a doctor if you can't afford it? Well, hey, we're going to find out today. How's it going, everybody? I'm Joey Giangola with Giangola Insurance, and let's be honest, health insurance or no health insurance, going to the doctors is not a cheap thing to do. Sometimes you're often faced with a difficult decision when you get sick. Do you spend your last $120 on a visit to the doctor, or do you buy groceries for the week? Sometimes, maybe even most of the times, the money just isn't there. And when those unexpected expenses come up, usually you kind of avoid them if possible. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's a lot easier to suffer through that sinus infection than hand over your last $120 for a little relief. So I thought it might be a little helpful if we take a look at why you're having such a hard time affording the proper care and take a look at a few ways you might be able to get it. Let's drag that 800-pound elephant to the front of the room. Why do doctors charge so much money? Well, if we're being honest, after you peel away all the layers of nonsense, really what we're left with is a service industry that has taken advantage of a consumer that has fallen asleep at the wheel, and a passenger, or your health insurance company, that has held that pillow up for far too long. One of the biggest issues with expensive treatment is that if you have health insurance, you aren't directly paying for it. Because you, the consumer, help set the price, the provider or your doctor is left with a double wide gap to fill. Most of the time, ignoring the treatment you need isn't really an option. It's not recommended anyways. This leaves you in a pretty difficult spot with very little choice to pay for their service. You're gonna have to pay a doctor, it's just a matter of which one. Now, of course, you can try to find a different doctor, but rarely do you know or ask what their price is. That's because your health insurance company is so involved. Literally with every other service that you buy, you're very aware of the price. If that price is unacceptable or the value just isn't there, you'll go somewhere else. Because that price accountability has been absent with health insurance, what we've been left with is like an unattended third grade class for like the last 30 years. Yikes. How old are you in third grade? That's like a bunch of like 35-year-olds just running around in a room for the last 30 years. I don't know what that looks like. So let's break down really quickly what some of the unaffordable options have been for you. First off, it's the emergency room. This tops the list of the most unaffordable choices you could make when getting treatment. If you're not asking yourself, oh my God, what should I do? Then the ER is probably not the place for you. There's also a decent chance you're gonna have to wait a while to be seen. Maybe not as long as our next option, but still. The ER should definitely be reserved for very serious things. I mean, stuff like broken bones, cuts, those types of things where you don't know if you're gonna make it. Next, how about an urgent care visit? Now, while we're taking a gradual step down the unaffordable scale, this is still gonna set you back a couple $100 depending on where you go. Most of the time, you're going to venture out to an urgent care facility when an illness strikes after hours of your doctor's office being open, right? I mean, seems logical. Wait times here can be substantial if other people are having just as miserable of a night as you or your kid is. Believe me, I know. It's like 4 or 5 hours of your life just gone in the blink of an eye. And you might also be using an urgent care in the place of having a primary doctor, which will run up the bill in the long run over having a primary doctor. And next, your primary doctor. How about that? In a perfect world, this should be the most affordable and convenient option for you to receive treatment, but it's not, unfortunately. While we again take another step down the unaffordability ladder, or stairs, I don't know, whichever one you want, you're still gonna spend $100 to $150 to see this doctor. And the biggest trick is actually getting an appointment to see this doctor when you're sick. All right, let's move on to some good news, shall we? What is the most affordable option? It's a great question, glad you asked it. So this falls in the it really sounds too good to be true category, and believe me, I hate nothing more than those two things coming together, sounding good and too good to be true. Not fun, right? But there is a new way to receive treatment at a greatly reduced costs and a completely revitalized point of access. Sounds fancy and maybe confusing. Let me explain. So there's this thing called telemedicine, and there's these telemedicine companies. One of the more prominent ones, a company that we partner with, is called Teladoc. This Teladoc visit is really gonna fill that gap of an urgent care visit. The trick here is that you're not gonna have to leave your house to do it, and you're only gonna pay a very small subscription fee every month to use it. That subscription fee is usually around $12 and a one-time application fee of $3.95. But don't worry about that. If you wanna do some simple math, let me grab my calculator here. 12 times 12 is $144. I'll put my calculator down. That $144 gives you access to as many doctor's consultations as you need throughout the course of the year. So you're basically trading one visit for as many as you need. What? And we're not even going to talk about the fact that with a push of a button, you're going to be talking to a licensed doctor on your smartphone. I mean, this guy right here on your smartphone within minutes. I mean, right? So that's the sounding good and too good to be true. It's cheaper, substantially, and it's also way more convenient. So what's the bottom line? Well, there's definitely a lot of inefficiencies in traditional avenues of medical treatment. Sorry, spoiler alert. And not to mention time and convenience challenges as well, like getting the appointment, going to the appointment, waiting for the appointment, waiting after the appointment's done, waiting for the medication, coming home from the appointment. That's a lot. And to top it off with a price tag that doesn't fit your current situation. I mean, I'm not going out on a limb here, but talking to a doctor on your phone, tablet, or computer is like way more convenient, dare I say, and also gives you a substantial greater bang for your buck in the whole process, right? So what's the next step? Well, if you think that makes a little bit of sense, even just the tiniest bit, go ahead, click right here on my face or the link below and start to take a look at what an actual doctor's visit looks like and if it's something that might work for you. But of course, as always, I do appreciate you taking time watching this video. And I'm Joey Giangola with Giangola Insurance Agency. Take it easy, everybody.